Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you by ShortTrackExclusives.com. I am your host, Thomas Faddis, alongside another short track guy. You know him well, Jim Pokran, the driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com sportsman here at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. Ted Baber is not available. We've sent him on a special mission for another report next week. We'll get back with you on that a little bit later. It's just going to be the two of us, and we've got a lot to cover. Jim, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just getting ready for next week. You know, we got a $1,000 to win sportsman race, and I sure could use that $1,000, and I'd like to have that trophy. We should have won one or two this year, and just, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but we've had some great finishes, and I think we got the car that'll last 35 laps and stay out front. So we're going to give them heck, and we're welcoming a couple of new drivers, hopefully next week, one of them being Kevin Mitchell, which I want to congratulate him on his win at Southern Raceway in the Buddy Miller night, which was a tribute to a good friend of ours, Buddy Miller, who passed away. Just want to get that out there. Kevin, we're looking forward to having you, brother.
Yeah, I understand it was a great race, as it will be on the 24th when you guys get together on the second night of the doubleheader in the Blizzard Series coming up next weekend, correct?
Oh, yeah, next weekend. Going to be a good night of racing. A little shout out to my buddy Ben Cranford for a top 10 finish in Pure Stock last week. Good deal, and the sprint cars were there. It was a good show. Enjoyed that. The Modifieds of Mayhem put on a really good race. Got to watch Augie Grill drive up there and lead some laps, and I think he ended up, second?
Yeah, he did finish second.
Yeah, that other 112 car finished third, and I watched that guy battle all night to get back up there because he fell back to like eighth, so it was a great show. And to watch those wing sprints, if you missed that, I'm going to tell you something. To watch those guys go around there and watch a vapor trail come off the wing as they got their foot stuck in it and their nuts draped across the floor.
Right.
Them boys are dragging them when they drive those cars because it's insane.
Yeah, and congratulations goes out to Troy DeCare from down South Florida in the Tampa area. He came up here and just, put it to him.
I'm going to tell you something. He liked to got beat. The second place car was catching him. It seemed like maybe there was an arrow push when they got close to one another. But the real show was the 32 car, which was running third. He was running them down, and he broke with like 5 laps to go. And we were just like, oh, it's so disappointing because we were going to look forward to a good finish. But it was a good finish. Troy did a great job. And I'm going to tell you something. Like I said, you've got to have a pair of big old hairy cojones to climb in one of those things and get after it like they did. And, of course, like I said, the Modifieds put on a great show. And the Pure Stocks, a little controversy, a little beating and banging. But other than that, it was a great race. Yeah,
Cody Stickler ended up coming up with the win. And Augie Grill, Max McDonald, Derek Griffin, and Parker Pugh rounded out the top 5.
Good. Anytime to see old Augie out there running good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And let's see, Troy DeCare, Joey Aguilar, Shane Morgan, Francis Crowder, and Michael Miller ended up in the top 5 with the wing sprints out there at Five Flag Speedway.
Shane Morgan races a lot of dirt, too. That's one of the first times I think I've ever seen him on asphalt. He did a great job. He stayed out of trouble and got him a podium finish out of it. So that was pretty good.
Well, let's talk about that annual Red Bud 400 we had on the last episode that was on Monday the 12th at Anderson Speedway, which was part of the ARCA CRA Super Series Super Late Model Race. Not so unknown, but a youngster from Brighton, Michigan, Kyle Crump, ended up coming away with the win.
Oh, boy, that was a beating, banging fest, I'll tell you. I saw some highlights of that race. They were tearing stuff up left and right. I think the top 3 late models, all of them had paint on the tires, paint on the side, tire marks down both sides of the car. It was a survival fest, and that kid did the best job of anybody. I think he punted the second place, a leader out of the way late in the race. And
Austin Nason with 2 to go, and then ended up pulling off. And then Sammy Smith ended up getting in there and finishing second.
Yeah, I think he gave the old leader the heave, gave Austin Nason the heave ho right there at the end of the race. You're on a little old track like that, a little bull ring. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it was Kyle Crump with the win. Austin Nason ended up finishing third. Sammy Smith was second. Greg Van Alst is CRA former champion, finished fourth, and then Classy Nassy, Stephen Nassy finishes fifth.
Yeah, he's there. I mean, anytime he goes to the racetrack, he's a threat to win. Used to not be a fan of the guy, but I'm starting to like him a little more. I'll have to admit, he's more fan friendly now. He seems like he's learning that, you're not going to get ahead in this sport acting like a butt head. So, good job by him, and it's cool to see him traveling all over the place, kind of like Bubba did, and running well. So, good job by Stephen Nasse to run the top 5 in that race and not bring the car home in a bucket.
Yeah, that's true. And, speaking of this Red Bud 400, these are all super late model races in different series. We're going to back up just a little bit more or just continue with the recap, but the Slinger National 200 that we talked about last episode also with Luke Venhouse. Getting a chance, or anybody that won the Slinger National is getting a chance, what they call the golden ticket, to get into the SRX race on that Saturday night. And Luke Venhouse ended up winning that race, the Slinger Nationals, and got the ticket. And did he put on a show with those superstars Saturday night, or what?
That was an awesome deal. I mean, you're battling Marco Andretti, an IndyCar driver, a guy that's used to running 240 miles an hour down a straightaway with a car that is nothing like a stock car, and to battle him and finish second to somebody like Marco Andretti, I'm telling you, man, that SRX series is bad to the bone.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, if Tony Stewart keeps going the way he's going to be a contender with NASCAR, I promise you, because these guys put on a show. You're letting local guys from the racetracks race in it, and they're doing well, so it gives them a chance to showcase their talent against some of the best in the world. Not the best in the country, but you're talking about Helio Castroneves, who just won the Indy 500. You're racing against Paul Tracy, Bill Elliott, Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. And they're going to Nashville this next week, and Chase Elliott's going to be racing against his dad. How cool is that? Mm-hmm. Michael Waltrip, the 2-time Daytona 500 winner. I mean, the talent's there. I keep hearing rumblings that Darrell Waltrip might get in one of them. I would love to see my hero run one against his brother. I think that would be super cool. But, Tony Stewart's a smart businessman. He took Eldora, and it was a great racetrack, and he's made it even better. And he races his sprint cars. I mean, the dude is a racer, and he wanted to do something different. And I think this series was perfect. Him and Ray Evernham have come up with something. I mean, it's growing leaps and bounds. The sponsors are coming on. The drivers are like, hey, I want to do that. I want to do that. I think it's going to be one of the best things for short track racing. And he better never take it to a super speedway, or I'm going to kick his behind myself. Mm-hmm. Stay on the short tracks. Showcase the local guys. To heck with the big races. Let NASCAR have that garbage. Let's stay on the short tracks, Tony.
Yeah, I understand Haley Deegan's going to come back, too, for that race in Nashville.
Yeah, I think she is, yeah. And she's a very talented girl. Her voice gets on my nerves, but she's a very talented young lady. But she's going to learn you can't go around punting people, because she won a couple of big races by knocking somebody out of the way, and somebody's going to do that back to her, and she's not going to like it. But it's part of racing. If you're going to live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yeah, that's true. It's I guess part of racing, Got to get people together from different series. I like what the SRX has done. Bringing the guys in with Cody Swanson and Doug Coby, winning at Stafford at the beginning. And, of course, Tony Stewart taking both wins on the dirt, at Eldora and Knoxville. And then Ernie Francis, a Trans Am driver, it's got a pedigree, he's got a laundry list of wins and success in that series, and knows what he's doing behind the wheel, but nobody really knew anything about Ernie Francis Jr., but he ends up winning. And then you got Luke Venhouse coming in here saying, hey, I want a part of this too. Yep.
Well, you take that kid who wins the Slinger Nationals and then gets in that car and runs second. I mean, you don't think there's going to be cup teams and stuff or truck teams looking at him? Can he bring the money? He's got good sponsors. I hate to say it's more about money than anything else, but it kind of is. But, you're racing against NASCAR champions, Greg Biffle, Bill Elliott. Michael Waltrip, guys that have won, and IndyCar drivers, guys that have won big-time IndyCar races. How cool is that? Bobby Labonte was a Cup champion. There's 3 Cup champions in that series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got Greg Biffle, who was a truck champion, who was a Xfinity champion. How awesome is that to get in a car that everybody's equal? You don't have an advantage. You don't get to change nothing. You just have to drive it.
Well, it's like the old IROC series, and I think it's I don't know, what would you call it? A spinoff maybe from years past.
Kind of.
The IROC, and it was one of the best races I ever saw in Atlanta. Max Pappas and I think Castor Mevis was there. There was a couple of Cup drivers in there, but it was the closest race, more competitive race than I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you put them in equal cars, it puts the hand in the drivers. And, there was it's funny. I was listening to one, Mark Martin was leading one of the races, and he started turning off cooling fans. He turned off his seat. He turned off all the brake cooling fans. Any kind of fan that he didn't need, he turned it off late in the race. It gained him a couple of horsepower. And that's all it took. He got out front. Earnhardt used to, Randy LaJoy talked about Earnhardt would always show up for the IROC practices at Daytona. And like, what are you doing here? You don't need practice. And Earnhardt taught him about where to run with the IROC cars to gain horsepower, to get more air into the box. So, I mean, it's strategy. It's balls out, 50-lap features. Go for it. You know, I mean, you're driving the car and you got a good crew chief because they got guys like Jeff Hammond and stuff, crew chief in the cars. You just go. I mean, and that's what I like about it. You're in equal cars. You don't have nobody has a mechanical advantage. It's all about the driver.
Yeah, that's true.
And you see a young kid like Luke Fenhouse, first time ever in one of those cars, run second to Marco Andretti. I mean, I'm a huge Mario Andretti fan. It's cool, man. I just think it's a great series. Tony Stewart, you did an awesome job, dude. You and Ray Evernham are awesome. That's all I can say.
Well, that's the Redbud 400 wrap up, and to see SRX recap from remnants of the Slinger National 200 winner, getting in with that golden ticket, and not really surprising anybody, but did his job, finished second behind Marco Andretti, in front of Tony Stewart, which was very impressive. And I look forward to another Saturday night on CBS at Nashville.
Yeah.
With Chase and Haley getting in there and mixing it up. And, we'll see how the father and son duo, that'd be awesome to see 1 and 2 with Bill out front, like the old Allison group there with Davey finishing behind Bobby at
Daytona, that was neat. That was a neat finish. That was really cool. Yeah. You don't see a lot of that stuff anymore, and it chokes you up as a NASCAR fan when you saw things like that. My father's son 1-2. How cool is that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it would be cool to see Bill and Chase get a 1-2 finish. I mean, or watching dad and son bang fenders all the way to the checkered flag. Would that not be a cool deal? I would love it. I'd be on my feet yelling if that was what was going on.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be on their feet about it. Saturday night on CBS, SRX.
Nashville.
Elliott, father and son duo against the Superstars Racing Experience. Haley Deegan being there. Nashville. Is it the Super Speedway or the Fairgrounds?
It's the Fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds. Okay, so the shorter of the two tracks.
Yes, and they're also running a pro late model race the same night, so that's going to be interesting too. A lot of good pro late model drivers are going to be there.
Yeah, that's the Masters of the Pros. I think there's over like 50 entries now, and a lot of the names. Yeah, a lot of the names that you've heard us talk about are going to be there, and what's an action-packed. We talked about this 3 or 4 episodes ago about July being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, months of the year in short track racing, with everything hitting one after another. And now we're going to get into a little bit of a short track dirt stuff that's going on right now. We got a couple of nights left in a 6-race series right here in the middle of July, and it's a short track shootout in the modifieds. But July seems to be a big month in short track racing.
Well, it's middle of the summer, I mean, that's when kids are out of school and guys got extra money. They don't have to buy the kids books or nothing, and race cars are racing. And, these young kids are out of school too, and they're racing because, they're out of school. So it does make a difference. And summertime is always the best time. I mean, when you get out there at our local track and you sit there and you're sweating and you're in the sun and you're mounting tires and you're like, why don't we do this in the wintertime? Sometimes it gets that way.
Yeah, and then, you go out for practice and it's, the track's 130, 140 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
You're screeching tires in the corner, and then you come in and said, well, how was it? Well, it was loose. I mean, it was sideways. Well, it's going to be 105 degrees race time, so you got to make those adjustments to get in there and tighten the car up because, Wayne Niedecken Jr. used to told me a long time ago, he said, you don't want a car getting too loose in practice because when it gets tight, as the track temperature comes down and nighttime comes, the ambient temperature cools off, your car is going to tighten up. So you got to find that fine line.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you go out there and I've been doing it long enough that I don't need a ton of practice. I'll go out and run like 5 laps and come in. How's the car? Good. Let's put tires on it and make a little bit of an adjustment. We'll run across the scales, check the numbers. Everything looks good. I don't worry about it. You see people scrambling. I'm like, I know what I want. If the car's what I want, then that's all I need to do.
I posted this on our Facebook page, which is Short Track Guys Podcast on Facebook, by the way. All our
Go
listeners.
join, please.
Yeah, go in and like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. But, leave us a comment and everything and get involved with this short track stuff because it's pretty cool to us. And I know there's a lot of short track people, a lot of racing fans that don't really want to do the Friday, Saturday night TV thing. They want to go and visit and support their local tracks and get some hot dogs and some burgers and some Pepsis and bring the kids out and watch some short track stuff. Because all the hard guys, the guys are getting down there and getting dirty and spending their weekly paycheck getting their car ready to go fast and, hopefully win that trophy and that $400 or whatever it is, in certain classes. I mean, it could be $1,000 to win or $2,000 to win, but some of the supers are, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 to win, which is good, but their cars are a little bit more expensive than
Just
some of the ones that they're local. So, but I saw this picture and, we've talked about doing the local stuff, regional, the national. Well, I want to step above, that and go a little bit global. And if you want to talk about Canada, and we're familiar with, and a lot of racing fans are familiar with, Canadian drivers in the late model series, the American Canadian Tour and some of the super late models up in the Northeast with, the ACT, above New York area in the Northeast. But this is actually in the Northwest above, it's a pretty good hike from Seattle, Washington. And, it is in Victoria, British Columbia. And they have a 4/10 mile, Western Speedway, which is now West Shore Motorsports Park. It opened in 1954.
Cool looking little place.
It is a little speed ring. I mean, we wouldn't call it a bull ring, but it is a speed ring, kind of like I guess Slinger. I guess it's a little bit bigger than Slinger. And what was the last one we just got through with?
The Redbud Anderson.
Yeah, at Anderson. Yeah, in Indiana. And I just wanted to recognize that they are. It's a 4/10 mile paved asphalt track. And they've got a full first-class steel structured grandstand with seating, 3,000 fans. Kind of not big, but it is big to them. And to trek all the way, and this gives you an idea about these guys from California that trek all the way over here in Texas and Oklahoma and from Canada and the Northeast and New York and Michigan and Indiana. I'll come down to run the blizzard races and all the super late route. Yeah, right here in Florida. So it's a big deal to us as being short track racing fans. And I came across the Twin 50s. They had two Twin 50s at West Shore, which is actually the old, formerly known as Western Speedway in Victoria. And I saw a picture of Roy Smith, the picture of the second winner, which was Dave Hemrich. Congratulations to Roy Smith and Dave Hemrich for your hard work, your effort, and your late model efforts and winning up in Victoria. Love to see you, put that car in the hauler if you can, if specs allow it, to come down here and then at least do a Blizzard Series race and, get to meet you, get your autographs and all that kind of stuff because we love it. We're going to give a shout out to that. Everybody just needs to. What's for short track racing? That's what we're all about.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's so far away, but it's a neat little speedway. I mean, from the pictures I've seen of it, it has paved parking. How cool is that? And I'm sure it's a fan-friendly place. The Canadians love their short track racing as much as we do. And it's pretty cool to do a track up there. And like I said, we need to do more tracks far away because people down here don't get to see those guys and they don't get to see us. So if we can work back and forth with each other, I think that'd be awesome. Because I mean, that's a neat little track. That's super cool. I'd love to race on that.
Yeah, I would too.
I think it'd be fun, to get a motorhome and a street stock and get, bring enough parts that you can go somewhere and just travel. Go to Stafford, go to Oxford, go to these tracks and just race.
Yeah.
We may not win, you may not be competitive. Who knows? You might kick their behinds. But even still, you're out there having fun. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, and it's fun doing this research too to kind connect with everybody else that's doing this during the week as well. We can get into that too with another dirt track modified series that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Finishing up their 5th and 6th night in North Dakota.
Yep.
It's a modified classic that started on Saturday night, and they run until tomorrow night. And tomorrow night is their Night of Champions, and that is what they call the Playground of Power.
Oh, that's a neat name for a racetrack.
Yeah. Dakota Classic Modified Tour. That's 6 rounds in North Dakota. And they were going to run in Canada, but the borders are obviously still closed. So they ran 2 nights at one track in Nodak. But it goes to show you that we're racetrack fans, and we do our search, and we talk about the names and put them out on the podium as it's well deserved because they've earned it. They do that hard work, blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes blood, sweat, and gears. But Jim knows all well what it takes to go in the shop and get it ready for the weekend. So
and lots of money because you're going to spend it.
Yeah.
But what I love about this is if I go somewhere, like I went to Texas one time, and first I'm riding down these 2-lane roads looking for racetracks. Is there a racetrack over here? Yeah, I'm gonna go watch Saturday night. And to me that's awesome because anywhere you go, I've been to probably 25 racetracks, and anywhere you go, the fans are friendly. It's a cool place to go. I'm sure this track in Canada would probably be a neat place to go sit with the Canadian fans and watch some stock cars go around. I bet that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd take the red hoser, eh?
Hey, yeah, that's right, hoser. Have a beer, eh?
Number 23 hoser,
eh? Yeah, he's a hose head.
Oh, race fans. Welcome to Short Track Guys podcast on an awkward Wednesday night.
Oh, we're just having fun. That's what this is about, man. We're about short track guys, short track racing, short track cars, sitting in the grandstands and getting a dirt clod in your beer when you're going to the local dirt track. Enjoy all aspects of short track racing. Don't just say dirt's better, asphalt's better. I've always wanted to say this. Just enjoy the racing, because if you don't, the tracks are going to close. We're going to have nowhere to race, and old guys like us are going to sit around and talk about the good old days, and you don't want to hear about that.
No, you
want to hear about current stuff with the guys getting after it. And just like the Red Bud race, they beat and banged and scratched up race cars. But hey, it was a good show. It was a fan-friendly show.
Yeah, and don't wear a white T-shirt to a dirt race, especially in turn 1.
No, especially if you ever go to Phoenix City, Alabama. The dirt late models actually throw up rubber dust, and when you leave there, your face has this black stuff all over it. And if you like your clothing, Thomas was just saying, you wear a white shirt, yeah, it's going to have crap all over it, and you're liable never to get it off. So, yeah, wear dark clothing when you go to some of these dirt tracks.
Yeah, and always buy a 50-50 ticket.
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody knows, 50-50 ticket is always a driver's fund. You'll have a staff member come by with a roll of tickets. They keep one. They give you one. They're $1 a piece. Just support the racetrack, support the drivers. Go out and have a family fun. And
that Ted Baber last year at the Derby, or was it the year before? I think it was last year. No, it was the year before. He won the 50-50 on Saturday night. It was like $3,500. That man put in his pocket. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. But that was awesome to hear my friend win it. And, support your track, support things like that. Buy a piece, buy a hamburger, buy a hot dog, buy the merchandise from the track. If you love racing, support it. Your local drivers, some of them have T-shirts made. They sell them to make a little bit of profit to put back in the car. Buy a T-shirt. There's drivers that I've had that I'm not big fans of, but you know what? They put out a shirt, I'll buy it because I want to have one.
All right. And you're actually going to be buy the first one of our shirts too, because we're about to release our logo and our merchandise through our website, shorttrackexclusives.com. Jim will be wearing the Short Track Guys podcast T-shirt when we're doing this.
And have a Short Track Guys podcast sticker on the race car so you guys can see it.
Correct.
Our logo and on my truck. And we're going to get some decals made for the fans, and we're going to enjoy this. This is something we're going to stick to. So y'all stay tuned and keep listening.
Yeah, we're going to keep doing this and going up and up with it. And hope you guys are enjoying it. And anybody that's listening, give us a shout out on Facebook. Short Track Guys podcast on Facebook. Just give it a shout and leave a comment. Tell us good or bad. Either way, it doesn't matter. Just contact and short track racing is what it's all about. It's all community, and we all love it, and we love to talk about it, eat, sleep, and drink it. So we're, wherever you listen to your podcasts, we're available on every platform that's out there. So that's just a Short Track Guys. Short Track Guys podcast is on Facebook, but every other platform, wherever you get your podcasts, just give us a shout.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I hate to bring up a somber moment for a minute. We lost a young man this past week. Young man by the name of Caleb Couch in a sprint car. He flipped and had a serious head injury. The car caught on fire. He got burned really, really bad, and he passed away. And we just want to, as a member of our short track family, we're all members of this family. We all care about each other, and we thoughts and prayers to their family. And it's a tough loss. This young man was a pretty good little old mini sprint driver and got hurt, and he's no longer with us. And we would just, from Short Track Podcast to his family, we just want to let you know we're thinking about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to getting to next Wednesday, and then you're getting ready for Saturday night sportsman race and helping some other guys, and that Blizzard Twin 100 doubleheader next weekend, and we're going to recap some of the other big races that are going to happen, and finishing up with that dirt modified race in North Dakota tonight and tomorrow night with the Night of Champions. Lots to recap next week, and look forward to getting back to you.
Oh yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're going to get that 07 car fixed up and ready to rock, and we're going to go give them heck, and hopefully we'll bring home that $1,000. And the next time, after this next week, when we get done with that race, I'll have a trophy sitting in here for everybody to look at. Well, we're going to look at it. Y'all won't be able to see it, but I'll be able to brag on it. And just let's have some fun. Let's go support your local short tracks.
Yeah, I put pictures of it on our Facebook page.
Awesome.
Yeah, so just put that in the bank. You're just going to have that, and then I expect that to be here next week.
I hear you.
Or the week after. The week after.
Yeah, it'll be the week after.
Yeah.
But good luck to everybody that Blizzard Series racing. Of course, I'm going to be pulling from my favorite Bubba Pollard, who's going to be here in his new Port City chassis, and I look forward to watching him put the whoop on these boys.
Yeah, I think he's got some things up his sleeve. There's something about great drivers like that have a lot of history and a lot of victories, that knows what they're doing. I think he's just been quiet for a reason. I think they're with his coming back with Port City, like you said, with Full Circle. I think there's going to be a show that weekend.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we're going to have some. I mean, the Blizzard Series race always brings the best in the Southeast from the Northwest and everywhere else. It's always a great show. I mean, our Blizzard Series races, there's only 4 or 5 of them a year, but my God, the caliber of drivers that come for these races. They come for the money, and they might want to be Blizzard champions, or they run the Southern Super Series, which all our Blizzard races are Southern Super Series races also, the majority of them. And they come to get practice for the Derby because they want that big trophy, and they know that may be the ticket that punches their ticket to the big leagues.
Yeah. Well, I'm 1-0 with Casey Smith winning the Modified at Mayhem's race.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go out on a limb, and if Bubba, you're listening, I'm going to say Bubba wins both races, Friday and Saturday night.
Well, you remember the last one they had. We didn't have one last year. Or was it last year? When he drove, because we lost David Rogers. When he drove David Rogers' car in one race and finished third in a Fury he'd never driven. He'd sit in twice and drove up to third. And in the second race, he got back in his Seneca car, and boy, oh boy.
It was over.
Oh, man, the 35 car was way out front. And I was looking at my race monitor, and I'm like, oh, Bubba's killing him 2/10 a lap, 2/10 a lap, 2/10. It's like, down the back straightaway, and here he come, and went right by him. And that kid drove a fine race, but he just got his butt handed to him.
Well, just watch out for that 26. That's all I got to say.
Dang Skippy.
I've been a fan of his for a long, long time, and I enjoyed, watching him win and just saving his stuff. And, believe it or not, he's actually helped me with a little success in the iRacing side of it too, about, just hanging back and saving your stuff and then wait until there's time to go. And he does just that.
You can do that in late models. Kind of cars I run, it's balls to the wall the whole time. You just got to go, 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 go. And maybe at the Derby, a 50 lapper, you wait a little bit if you can ride some. But I'm telling you, I've never had a race where I've just ridden. I've always just had to drive the wheels off the thing.
Well, we look forward to hearing that story. I'm sure we're going to get together next Wednesday before that and get a prep a little bit closer to the weekend. But look forward to having Ted back and getting his information from his little special report he's going to probably have next week. And Jim,
thank you, everybody. Appreciate you listening, and good talking to you, brother. And we'll do it in another week and have some fun. And remember, support your short tracks.
Yes, amen. Good night, everybody.